guys? Well, for you it's probably a little bit later, but for me we just got the coffee done. And what we have is special this week. This is Don Pablo's Bourbon Infused Coffee. So make sure you stick around because not only are we going to give this away, but you're going to get a chance at a Bourbon of the Week mug. But in the meantime, we are here at Castle and Key Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky, because that's where they take care of the bottling of Penelope Bourbon. This was a gift from the in-laws over Christmas, so we're going to get into this, we're going to get into the coffee, and maybe we're going to mix a little bit of both, see how they go together. So here we go, let's get to it. So we're going to start off here with the Penelope before we get into the coffee because I always want to do the bourbon first. But everybody knows before we get started on either of those, time for the traditional sip. Cheers. Surprisingly smooth. So the Penelope story is an awesome story, very family friendly. This time of the year we always love a good heartwarming family time story. So this has a guy named Mike and his wife named Carrie expecting their first daughter, and what do they want to name her? Obviously Penelope. They team up with a lifelong friend, all from New Jersey. His wife also expecting at the time, and they live out the lifelong dream of naming a whiskey after their daughter. So that's where we come up with this. They are very transparent on their website with everything. They talk about where they get the product. They talk about where they distill it. MGP distills it. They talk about Castle and Key, which is where they mix and bottle it. They even talk about the company that they get the barrels from that they put the product in. So everything's right there on their website, laid out plain and simple. It is a 2-year, it says 2 to 3 year on the website. This is at least 24 months aged. New American oak barrels, obviously non-chilled, filtered. So only being an 80 proof, let's get right into drinkability on this. And I can tell you it sips easy, but you wouldn't expect anything less. It's coming from MGP, who knows how to make a good whiskey. So they're going to put out a good product. And Penelope obviously does a great job of mixing and bottling it. So with all that being said, one more sip and we'll give you a score. Yeah, I mean, it's just real smooth. There's no real kick to it. You don't expect one at 80 proof, but even some of the other younger 80 proof bourbons that we've had have a little bit more of a kick to it. So I'm going to give this a pretty good score. I'm going to give this like an 8.7 on the drinkability scale, only because it is an 80 proof. I've had some higher proofs that sip really easy. Nothing's going to really try and touch an 80 proof. There are a few, like I said, that aren't that good. But with MGP distilling the product, they know what they're doing. So 8.7 on drinkability. So that's going to bring us over into taste on this. As you all know, this is, like I said, a younger bourbon. It is an 80 proof bourbon, but MGP does such a good job at distilling bourbons that they can still keep that flavor profile intact. And then obviously it's Penelope's job to go in, pick the barrels that they want, blend them, and then bottle it. So they do a very good job with that 4 different grains of making sure nothing really overwhelms or stands out or takes over this bottle. It's really easy to drink. Really good profile for such a young 80 proof bourbon. A lot of them lose that flavor. They get watered down or they get proofed out or everything like that. But this is a really good taste profile. Now it's very sweet forward, like that sweet corn, that sweet fruit. A little bit of a syrupy note to it, but nothing again that stands out or that I don't like. It's a traditional young bourbon flavor, but I actually think it's one of the better ones when it comes to this. They've obviously won a bunch of awards. It says right on here, SIP Awards, gold, double gold. I don't know what any of that means. I don't know how the awards work for bourbon. Not really that deep into it yet, but that was right in 2019. So they're obviously making a name for themselves. I haven't heard of them, and yet I'm hearing a lot of them lately. People reviewing them, people buying them, and obviously people gifting them like I got here. Very appreciative, by the way. So this is going to get a good score on taste, keeping everything in mind. Keeping in fact that it is a source bourbon, it is a young bourbon, and it is an 80 proof bourbon. I'm still going to give it like a 8.1. 8.1. Do I want to give it an 8.1 or do I want to keep it at an 8? Let's give it an 8.1 because I do think it deserves to be up there with how well they do making this flavor stand out, even being such a young, low-proof bourbon. And again, last but certainly not least is the price tag on this. Now, this is where I do think it gets a little bit high. This is a $35 price tag, which by no means is a high price tag, especially when it comes to bourbon. But let's keep in mind that it is only an 80 proof. Let's keep in mind that it is only 2 to 3 years aged. So the reason that it's that pricey is because they're sourcing it, and the reason that it's that pricey is because all those extra steps that they're adding with getting their own charred oak barrels, getting all these stuff and all the mixing and sending it from here to there and there to here to get it done. But it speaks for itself. Everything that they do makes it a better and superior product, not inferior, a superior product than most of the competition in this level. So it deserves to have a little bit of a higher price tag. I still think $35 is a tough ask for such a young, such a low proof bourbon. But at the same time, I understand why they're charging. I don't think they're overcharging or above market value for what they're getting here. So let's keep both of those things in mind when giving a price score. And I'm going to give it a straight 8.0 on price. Because again, I don't think it's the greatest price. If this was in that 25, just drop it that $10. But I really don't think that they can do that. I don't think they would make the money that they need to make off of it, being that $25 range, which is why they've got it up there. So we're going to give it an 8.0 on price, and I think that's pretty fair. So like always, while I add these scores up, let's send it over to our Bourbon Bomb of the Week, not brought to you by Penelope's, but by Don Pablo's Coffee. Let's get it. So this week's Bourbon Bomb of the Week is brought to you by Don Pablos. Now, Don Pablos has an amazing family story behind it as well, which is why we went and paired that with the Penelope this week. There's a gentleman named Darren. He moved down to Florida where he fell in love with his wife, Eliana. They went back to her hometown in Colombia with the Latin culture. He fell in love with it immediately, and how could you blame him? Along with that came coffee, obviously, and that gives us Don Pablos. Now, her grandmother couldn't say his name because she was Spanish speaking, so instead of calling him Darren, she called him Don Pablo, and that's how we've got this product right here. Now, if you go on their website, which I will link below, they have a bunch of amazing products, including K-Cups. They have dark roast, medium roast, light roast, decaf, and most importantly, the bourbon infused, which is what we went with today. So make sure you stick around for Rissa's reviews, because we're not only going to give away one of these, we're also going to give away one of the Bourbon of the Week coffee mugs, so you can win that, and we'll tell you how during that. Cheers to you, Don. Thanks for the coffee. Thank you again to Don Pablos. We're going to get right back into that with Rissa's reviews, but I'm glad that I could team up with them so we can get you guys some amazing products and learn more than just bourbon when talking about the bourbon world, because there's a lot incorporated with it. But back to the Penelope. The Penelope scored fantastic. Fell right out of the top 10, but for a 2-year aged bourbon, that's not a bad place for it. It fell at an 8.27, which is like 11th or 12th. Great spot for it. One of the better younger bourbons that I have, and I can't recommend it high enough. I appreciate my mother-in-law and father-in-law for getting this for me. The 4-grain straight bourbon whiskey is the way to go. Like I said, they have 3 other products. Maybe I'll try and find a bottle of those to try it out. But awesome family story, awesome product here. Again, go out, buy yourself some Penelope. You're not going to be upset. If you like that lower proof bourbon, you're going to love this. They also, like I mentioned earlier, have a bunch of cocktails on their website that they recommend making with this. I think it would be fantastic with that sweetness that comes along with it in a cocktail. So try those out. I know I will be. But let's send it over to Rissa's reviews to see what she thinks of the coffee and what she thinks of the Penelope. Cheers. Are you excited about the Don Pablos?
I am. I like coffee a lot.
Are you excited about this since your parents got it for me?
Yes.
Yes.
My mom was very proud that she found a bourbon that you've never had before.
That I've never had. And I've been talking to a lot of people about Penelope. So I'm glad I got it. Time for the traditional sip. Cheers. And don't lie either, just because your mom bought it.
I know. I never lie when I'm talking about bourbon.
Same.
No, I can't.
Can't do it? Four. Thumbs down?
It smells like straight nail polish remover.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
What do you think? First sip.
I like the taste.
It's a good taste.
But drinkability.
For a young bourbon, it's young. Drinkability you don't like? A little tough still?
Everything's tough for me.
Better or worse than some of the, like Russell's? You think it's worse than Russell's? This is only an 80 proof. Keep that in mind.
It definitely burns.
Bernie, no more.
I don't hate it. I could sip on this and drink the rest of the glass.
Maybe an ice cube or two for you.
Yeah.
But the taste you like?
Yeah, I like the taste.
It is. It's a good taste. I like the taste as well. It's a younger bourbon. Where would you put it? Where are you putting it on your scale? Ding, ding,
I would
ding.
give it a thumbs up.
Is that your first thumbs up?
Well, since we've been doing thumbs up.
Well, that's only 2 bourbons.
I liked Maker's Mark and Russell's. Those
Makers
are my
and Russell's are thumbs up, and Penelope is your
I'll
third
add
thumbs up.
Penelope to the thumbs up.
Look at you. Are you ready to get into our bourbon? Oh, into our bourbon. We're into our bourbon. Are you ready to get into our coffee? Mine's still hot, but we're going to try it. We're going to get through it.
I will say that when we first opened the bag, you can definitely smell bourbon.
It is bourbon infused.
Yeah.
Specialty
So,
coffee.
that's real.
That's real.
The bourbon taste, well, I didn't taste it yet, but the bourbon smell is there. You can tell it's definitely got some bourbon in it.
So I'm not, full disclosure, I'm not an everyday coffee drinker. Marissa, which is why I included her, is our everyday coffee drinker.
That's good.
Is it?
It's a lot better than bourbon.
That's hot. Burnt my tongue. That is good, though. This is black. We didn't add
Yeah,
any
we
cream.
didn't
I would
wanna,
normally
like-
add cream and sugar to mine.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to throw off any of the flavors. Just like our bourbons, we drink it neat. So we drank this black to start.
Chris
And I
puts
like
a half a cup of sugar in
It's
his
like
coffee.
a little bit of sugar, like 4 or 5 cups.
Yeah, this is good. Like, I don't know if I would even need cream.
This is really good. And I don't drink mine black, but I could drink this black. Less harsh, I feel like.
Yeah, it's not super
Than like
dark.
Right, than like a dark coffee.
Mm-hmm.
We are giving away, we've teamed up with Don Pablos to give this away. This is still sealed. We didn't open this one.
Yeah, that was so sweet of them.
Very nice of them to do this with us. We actually are very appreciative of this because these are the first people that teamed up with us.
It's the first collaboration.
This is our first company collab. So Don Pablo,
So cool.
We're going to give this away. And I also have a second Bourbon of the Week mug. So I won't give you this one that I sipped out of. Maybe I'll sell that one if somebody wants to pay a little extra because I drank out of it. Am I not famous
No.
yet? I'm not big
I
enough
don't
yet
know
for
if you'll
that?
ever get it.
You don't think I'll ever be big enough to
I'll
sell
buy your licked
doesn't-
on coffee mug.
Licked. I was just out here licking coffee mugs. But anyway, we're going to give away the second one that they sent us and the coffee mug. All you have to do is when you watch this, go over to my Instagram, check it out. I'll make sure to have the Don Pablos label and everything on the Instagram, and we'll give you the giveaway instructions right there. And that's what we're going to do. We have a bunch of giveaways, actually. We have our typical Tuesday giveaway. By the way, if you don't already know, go over every Tuesday at 4 p.m. We drop a picture of the bourbon that we're reviewing.
Mm-hmm.
You can guess what that bourbon's going to score. And if you guess the closest to that score, then you get entered on a shout out on the channel, and you get entered in that week's or that month's, we're doing it once a month, giveaway. Which isn't this. That's a whole separate thing.
Do you know what your giveaway is yet?
Yeah, I've got some koozies. We're going to get some
Ooh.
t-shirts and some hoodies. Maybe some hats. Yeah, the hoodies are nice. We have this giveaway. We have the typical Tuesday giveaway. We still have our Blanton's giveaway for another
Super excited. When are you announcing that?
January 1st. Last Tuesday's giveaway winner, Heavy Ashes. You remember Heavy Ashes? I did the cigar collaboration with him.
Yes.
So shout out to Heavy Ashes. He was spot on. I think he
That's
put in
so
8.8.
cool.
We had an 8.73. He was right on. He had the bookers before. So congrats to Heavy Ashes. Make sure to get you in our giveaway. If you don't already, by the way, go follow Heavy Ashes. Go follow Don Pablos. I'll link both their website and their Instagram below. I found them on Instagram. They're on Facebook. They're on Instagram. Now that I've searched them, they pop up on all of my... You know how the government's watching us. Now they're all on my advertisements and everything. Don Pablos, thank you again to them. Make sure you click that like. Make sure you click that subscribe. We're only like 5 or 6 away from 300. My goal is 250 for the year. So make sure you click that like. Make sure you click that subscribe. Let's go into 2021 with a bang. Appreciate you guys. Don't drink and drive. Drink responsibly. And as always,
Wash your
drink
hands.
your coffee. Oh, we were doing drink your coffee.
Why? Okay.
Because we had the coffee.
But I do think this is very, perfect. If you're a bourbon lover and you drink coffee in the morning, you have to try this.
We're done.
I always think of something
No,
and
go
then
ahead.
you're wrapping up and it's too late.
No, go ahead. Sips tea.
I was also going to say shout out to Marianne and Ray, my mom and stepdad, for supplying the bourbon today.
I agree. Very good bourbon. Very surprised with how young it was. Are you done? Can I wrap it up?
Chris got me a really good Christmas
Oh my
present.
gosh. So there we have it, folks. Wash your hands. Hit
Drink
that like,
your
hit that
coffee.
subscribe, drink your coffee in the morning. Check out Don Pablos. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Bye.